The moment you thought you were finally going to break was the exact moment I began weaving the gold back into the fabric of your life. I have watched you, my precious child, in those quiet, suffocating hours of the night, when the weight of your bills felt like a physical hand pressing against your chest. I saw you stare at those numbers on the screen, the red ink of debt blurring through the tears you refused to let fall because you thought you had to be strong for everyone else. I was there when you walked through the grocery store aisles, mentally subtracting items from your cart, feeling a sting of shame that you never deserved to carry. I want you to breathe now. Take a deep, slow breath and feel my presence surrounding you like a warm mantle. The era of your lack is being dismantled by my hand at this very second. You have asked me when and how so many times that your prayers have become a weary whisper, but I tell you today that the how is coming from a direction you have completely overlooked. I am the God of the impossible, and I delight in using the strange, the discarded, and the forgotten to provide for my children. Do you remember that specific afternoon, the one we've labeled in the heavens as Moment 5591? You were sitting on that old wooden bench by the park, watching the wind stir the dead leaves, and you told me you didn't think you could go on another week. You felt invisible to the world, a ghost haunting your own life. But I was leaning in close, whispering to your spirit that the harvest was already growing in a field you hadn't even planted yet. Your blessing is not coming through a standard paycheck or a predictable bonus. It is coming through a strange source, an encounter with a person you haven't spoken to in a decade, a legal document buried in a dusty file, or perhaps a piece of property you thought was worthless that suddenly holds the key to your freedom. I am moving the hearts of strangers to favor you. I am causing administrative errors to be corrected in your favor. I am waking up people in positions of power and putting your name on their minds until they fulfill the promptings I have placed within them. You are not a forgotten soul lost in the machinery of a cold world. You are my heir, and the silver and gold of this earth belong to me. I am currently aligning a series of accidents that will result in a financial windfall so specific and so timely that you will have no choice but to fall to your knees and recognize my signature on the check. This is not just about the money, my beloved. It is about your heart. I want to wash away the trauma of poverty and the scars of not enough that have defined your identity for too long. I am replacing that spirit of heaviness with a garment of praise. You will soon stand in a place of such abundance that you will be the one extending your hand to lift others up. The anxiety that has been your constant companion is being evicted today. I am clearing the path. I am opening the windows of heaven. Stay alert, for the delivery will not come in a golden chariot, but perhaps in a plain brown envelope, a phone call from an unknown number, or a chance meeting at a coffee shop. Do not dismiss the small things, for they are the seeds of your great expansion. I love you with an everlasting love, and my provision for you is as limitless as the stars I have named in the sky. Your struggle is over. Your testimony of my goodness is just beginning. Look around your room right now, the space where you have paced back and forth, counting the cost of your survival. You have measured your life in increments of what you lacked, but I am measuring your future in the boundlessness of my grace. I see the stack of papers on your desk that you have been afraid to touch, the digital notifications you have swiped away, because they represent a debt you could not reconcile. I am moving even in those digital spaces, rearranging the data points of your life. Do you remember the kindness you showed years ago to that soul who seemed beyond repair? You thought it was a small gesture, a cup of water offered in a desert of indifference. But in my kingdom, nothing is ever lost. The seeds you planted in the lives of others are coming back to you now, fully grown and heavy with fruit. There is a man you have not spoken to in a decade, someone who observed your integrity when you thought no one was watching. He is being prompted in his spirit even as I speak to you. He is waking up with your name on his mind, a debt of gratitude burning in his heart that he can only satisfy by ensuring your security. This is not a coincidence. It is the divine synchronization of my will. I am stirring the hearts of strangers to favor you. I am causing people who do not even know my name to act on my behalf to bring you the resources you need. You have spent so long being the one who carries the weight for everyone else, the one who finds a way when there is no way. But now I am the way, and you are the guest of honor. I am taking the survival mode out of your nervous system. Feel the tightness in your chest begin to loosen. That shallow breath you've been taking for years is expanding into a deep, restorative rhythm. I want you to go to that old coat you haven't worn in 2 seasons, or perhaps check that drawer where you keep the things you've forgotten. You will find a physical sign there, a small token that I am already at work before the larger floodgate opens. This is not just about a bank balance. It is about the restoration of your dignity. You were not created to be a beggar at the gates of life. You were created to be a steward of my abundance. I am repairing the breach that was made generations ago in your family line. The poverty that haunted your ancestors, the fear that they whispered into your ears as wisdom. I am silencing those voices. I am teaching you a new vocabulary, one where overflow is the primary word. When you see the numbers change, when the envelope arrives with the check that seems too large to be real, do not let your heart race with fear that it is a mistake. It is a correction. It is the universe aligning with my original intent for your life. I am looking into the hidden corners of your bank accounts and your legal standing, and I am finding the errors that were made against you. I am sending advocates you didn't hire to fight battles you didn't know were being waged. You have felt like an outsider looking in at the prosperity of the world, wondering why the doors remained locked for you. I have been waiting for this precise moment, when your heart was ready to handle the weight of the blessing without it becoming your master. You are ready now. You have been refined in the fire of not enough, until the dross of greed has been burned away, leaving only the pure gold of a heart that knows how to give because it has known how to need. Watch your inbox today. Watch for the name that seems familiar but distant. There is a legal settlement, a refund of an overpayment, or a gift from a person who has recently come into their own fortune and feels an inexplicable urge to share it with you. They will tell you that you were the first person they thought of. Believe them, for I am the one who placed your face before their eyes. I am orchestrating a symphony of provision where every note is perfectly timed to your need. The car that has been making that noise, the roof that needs repair, the education you want to pursue, these are not obstacles to me. They are simply invitations for me to show off my power in your life. You have been so brave, my child. You have kept your faith even when the cupboards were bare and the silence of heaven felt deafening. But the silence was never absence. It was the quiet of a father preparing a surprise for his beloved. I am turning your someday into today. I am taking the if only and turning it into it is finished. As you walk through your day, keep your eyes open for the strange and the unusual. A discount that shouldn't exist, a person who insists on paying for your meal, a check in the mail for an amount that matches exactly what you were worrying about last night. These are my love letters to you. I am teaching you to trust me not just for your soul, but for your bread. You are moving into a season where you will no longer have to choose between your bills and your peace. You will have both, and you will have them in such a way that the world will look at you and see the unmistakable mark of my favor. Your hands, which have been clenched tight in worry, are being opened wide to receive. Do not be afraid of the magnitude of what is coming. It is not too much for you, because it is coming from me, and I have equipped you to carry it. The trauma of the lean years is being washed away by the rain of my goodness. Drink deeply of this peace. The struggle is no longer your identity. Abundance is your new home. I am even now touching the hidden gears of the world's commerce on your behalf. There are ledgers in offices you have never visited where your name is being written in the margins. You have spent so long bracing for the impact of the next thing to go wrong that your body has forgotten how to be soft. I am teaching you that softness is not a liability, but a sign of safety. I see the way you used to scan your bank balance with a held breath, your heart hammering against your ribs like a trapped bird. I am hushing that bird. In the coming weeks, you will receive a notification, perhaps a letter on heavy stationery or a digital alert, regarding an account you thought was closed or a refund from a utility company that dates back years. To the world, this is a clerical error or a stroke of luck. To us, it is a deliberate act of restoration. I am going back through the timeline of your life and reclaiming every cent that was stolen by anxiety, every dollar that was lost to the devourer of your peace. You will notice that the numbers on the page don't just add up. They multiply in ways that defy the math you were taught in school. This is the logic of my kingdom, where 5 loaves and 2 fish become a feast for thousands. I am doing this so that you can finally look at the horizon without wondering if a storm is coming to wash away your foundation. I am the foundation, and I am building a house of plenty upon it. Even the inanimate objects in your home will begin to respond to this shift. The appliances that have been on the verge of breaking will find a second wind. The car that has been groaning will find a quiet strength. I am extending the life of what you have while I am bringing you the new. Look closely at the faces of people you encounter in the most mundane places: the post office, the grocery store, the sidewalk. Someone is carrying a blessing for you, and they don't even know why they feel compelled to offer it. They will say things like, "I don't usually do this," or "I had an extra one of these and thought of you." Accept it with a smile. Do not explain away my goodness. When you reject a gift because you feel you haven't earned it, you are trying to apply the laws of the world to the grace of my heart. You cannot earn a sunrise and you cannot earn the rain. You simply receive them. This season of strange provision is meant to break the back of the work to survive mentality that has aged your spirit before its time. I am calling you into the work to thrive frequency. Think of the legal matter that has been a shadow over your family for years, or the debt that felt like a permanent weight. I am moving the hand of the one who signs the paperwork. A sudden forgiveness of debt is coming, not because you asked for it, but because I commanded it in the secret places of the heart. You will find yourself standing in your kitchen, holding a piece of paper that changes everything, and you will weep, not out of sorrow, but out of the sheer relief of being seen. I have seen every tear you shed over a bill. I have seen every night you skipped a meal so someone else could eat. I have been keeping a record, and the time for your dividends has arrived. Do not look for these blessings through the lens of your past. If you look through the lens of the lean years, you will see only a temporary reprieve. But I tell you, this is a permanent migration. You are moving across the border from the land of not enough into the land of more than sufficient. In this new land, your creativity will no longer be strangled by the need to monetize every breath. You will create because you are joyful. You will give because you are full. The very air around you is thickening with the moisture of this coming rain. Can you smell it? It is the scent of fresh beginnings and the end of the drought. Even your physical health will respond to this financial peace. The tension in your jaw, the tightness in your shoulders, the acid in your stomach, they are all tied to the fear of lack. As I fill your storehouses, I am also healing your cells. You are being restored in every dimension. Expect the unusual. A stranger may pay for your groceries today simply because I told them your name in a dream. An old investment, a few shares of something you forgot you owned, will suddenly skyrocket in value. A property you thought was a liability will become your greatest asset. These are not coincidences. They are the signatures of my presence in your bank account. I am proving to you that I am not a distant god of abstract concepts, but a present Father who cares about the price of bread and the roof over your head. This abundance is a tool for your purpose. It is the fuel for the dreams you buried because you couldn't afford to dream them. Dig them up. Dust them off. The resources are meeting the vision, and they are meeting it with a speed that will make your head spin. Stay in this peace. Do not let the old voices of scarcity whisper in your ear. They are ghosts of a life you no longer live. You are a citizen of the kingdom of plenty, and your king is exceptionally generous. Look closely at the names that appear in your inbox or the signatures on the documents that cross your desk this week. There is an individual in a position of significant influence who has been unable to find rest because my spirit has been prompting them to resolve a situation that involves you. They may not even understand why your face keeps appearing in their thoughts, but they will feel a divine compulsion to reach out with an offer, a correction, or a gift that defies logic. This is the year of the return of the harvest, where seeds you planted in the soil of kindness decades ago are finally breaking through the surface of your current reality. You gave when you had nothing, and you shared when your own cup was nearly empty. Do you think I would let those moments of sacrifice go unnoticed? I am the keeper of the ledger, and I am balancing your books with a supernatural surplus. I am unlocking the vault of forgotten favors. Think back to a time when you helped a traveler, supported a struggling friend, or stayed late to finish a project for someone who eventually took all the credit. I was there in those moments of hidden integrity, and I am now orchestrating a moment where that very person, or someone connected to them, will be the vessel through which a massive financial blessing flows back to you. It will come as a phone call that starts with, "I don't know if you remember me," or a letter from a legal firm regarding an estate you didn't even know you were part of. I am removing the calluses of worry from your heart. For too long, your prayers have been whispered through the grit of survival, and your sleep has been stolen by the mental arithmetic of debt. I am silencing those numbers. I am replacing the frantic sound of the calculator with the quiet, steady rhythm of peace. You will walk into your bank and find that a clerical error was actually a divine adjustment in your favor. You will receive a notification of a digital asset, perhaps a forgotten account or a piece of technology you once tinkered with, that has suddenly acquired a value that makes your eyes widen in disbelief. This is not for your hoarding, but for your healing. I want to wash away the stain of not enough that has colored your perspective for so many seasons. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten, not just in time, but in the material substance you need to fulfill the mandates I placed within your DNA. There is a house with a specific porch, a garden you have already walked through in your imagination, and a kitchen where you will host those who are currently as broken as you once were. That house is not a fantasy. It is a destination I am currently funding. I am moving the hearts of strangers in distant cities to invest in your ideas, even the ones you haven't fully articulated yet. You will find that no turns into yes before you even finish asking the question. The resistance you have faced for years is melting away like wax before a flame, because the season of friction has ended and the season of flow has begun. I am even reaching back into your family tree, uncovering inheritances that were diverted or hidden by the shadows of the past. Justice is a person, and I am standing in your courtroom, decreeing that what was stolen from your ancestors must be returned to you with interest. You might receive a check from a company that hasn't existed for 10 years, or a royalty payment for a creative spark you released into the world and then forgot. Do not overthink the mechanics of how I work. Just as I commanded the fish to carry a coin to Peter, I am commanding the systems of this world to deliver your provision. Your part is to remain in this posture of grateful expectancy. When the deposit hits, when the debt is cleared, when the stranger hands you the keys, do not fall back into the old habit of wondering when the other shoe will drop. There is no other shoe. There is only the steady, rhythmic beat of my favor pursuing you. I am deepening the well of your influence by increasing the weight of your resources. You were never meant to be a servant to the currency of this world. You were meant to be its master, directing it toward the light. I am giving you the power to create wealth, not just for the sake of numbers on a screen, but to buy back the time you lost to stress. I am buying back your weekends. I am buying back your laughter. I am buying back the ability to look at your children and your grandchildren and know that their paths are paved with the abundance I am flowing through you right now. Stay centered in my love, for these blessings are but a shadow of the intimacy I desire with you. The gold is just the dust of my streets, provided so that you can walk with your head held high, unburdened and free to love without the shadow of lack. This flow will not stop after the first wave. It is a recurring tide, a perpetual motion of grace that will sustain you until the vision is fully realized. Trust the strange sources, for they are my messengers in disguise. Behold the quiet architecture of the miracles I have designed for you. While you were sleeping, fretful and calculating the margins of your survival, I was whispering into the ears of those you have never met. I was moving the pens of executors and the hearts of distant strangers. Do not be surprised when you receive a letter concerning an inheritance you never knew existed, or a settlement from a corporation that has long since faded from your memory. I am reaching into the archives of the past to settle the debts of your future. I am unlocking vaults that have been sealed for decades, reserved specifically for this moment when your spirit is ready to receive without being consumed by the gift. Think back to that season of deep drought, those nights when the silence of your house was heavy with the questions of how and when. I heard the unspoken cries of your heart when you looked at the empty spaces in your cupboards and the growing numbers on your bills. Those tears were seeds, and the ground they fell upon was not barren. It was merely resting, preparing to give back a harvest that defies the logic of your current economy. I am now calling forth that harvest from the four corners of the earth. Watch for the stranger who approaches you with a request that seems like a distraction, for hidden in their words is the key to a door you have been knocking on for years. I often wrap my greatest provisions in the most humble packaging. A discarded idea you had years ago, a sketch in an old notebook, a melody you hummed but never recorded, a conversation you had over coffee is being resurrected. Someone, somewhere, is looking for exactly what you have stored in the attic of your soul, and they will be moved to compensate you in a way that feels disproportionate to the effort you exerted. This is my favor, which does not operate on the scales of human merit. I am also addressing the digital spaces of your life. Expect the glitch that works in your favor, the correction of an error that results in a surplus, the sudden appreciation of a small investment you forgot you even made. These are not accidents. They are the rhythmic pulses of my providence. I am clearing the static from your financial lines so that the flow is unobstructed. You have been accustomed to the drip feed of just enough, but I am opening the floodgates of more than enough. Notice the change in your physical body as the weight of lack is lifted. Your shoulders will drop, the tension in your jaw will dissolve, and the shadows under your eyes will begin to fade as rest becomes a reality rather than a luxury. I am restoring the health that stress attempted to steal. As the resources flow in, I want you to feel the warmth of my presence in every dollar, every coin, and every signed document. It is not just paper and metal. It is a manifestation of my commitment to your well-being. I am placing you in rooms with people whose names you have only read about, not because you sought their company, but because I have prepared a seat for you at their table. They will look at you and see a light they cannot explain, a wisdom they cannot buy, and they will be moved to invest in your vision. Your ideas are no longer just dreams. They are blueprints for a kingdom-driven reality. I am giving you the favor of Joseph in the midst of Egypt, the favor of Esther in the courts of the king. You will find that doors which were locked to others will swing wide at the sound of your footsteps. Do not fear the scale of what is coming. Some would say it is too much, that it is too good to be true, but they do not know the heart that beats for you. For me, nothing is too good for my beloved. I am not a God of scarcity, nor am I a God who delights in the struggle of his children. I am the source of all that is, and I have chosen this moment to make an example of my goodness through your life. When you look at your bank balance and see the numbers shift in ways that seem impossible, take a deep breath and say, "This is my Father's house, and I am a child of the King." Use these resources to heal the brokenness around you. Be the anonymous hand that pays for the groceries of the widow. Be the voice that funds the dreams of the orphan. As you become a river, the flow will only increase. A river that stays stagnant becomes a pond, but a river that flows toward others remains fresh and ever deepening. I am also touching the legacy of your family. The cycles of poverty that have haunted your bloodline for generations are being broken today. The broke mentality, the "we can't afford it" mantra, the fear of the mailbox, these are being washed away by the tide of my abundance. Your children will not know the fear you felt. They will know the security of a life anchored in my provision. You are the pivot point, the generation where the story changes forever. I am rewriting your family history with a pen dipped in gold and grace. Keep your heart soft during this transition. It is easy to become hardened by the struggle, but it is equally easy to become distracted by the surplus. Stay near to my heart, where the gold is just the background and my love is the main event. The wealth is a tool, a servant to the purpose I have placed within you. Let it work for you, let it build for you, let it provide for you, but never let it occupy the throne that belongs to me alone. The strange sources will continue to appear. An old friend from childhood will reach out with a business proposal that sounds like a divine setup. A neighbor will share a tip that leads to an unexpected windfall. Even the taxes you thought you owed will become a refund you didn't expect. I am working in the minutiae. I am working in the margins. I am working in the miracles. There is a specific person you will encounter in the coming days. Pay attention to the one who seems out of place, the one who looks like they have nothing to offer. In their hands, I have placed a seed that will grow into a forest for you. The frequency of these blessings will increase. It will no longer be a once-a-year event, but a weekly rhythm of grace. You will find yourself saying, "I don't know where this came from, but I know who sent it." And in that knowing, you will find a peace that surpasses all understanding. The world will wonder at your composure, but you will simply smile, knowing that the Creator of the stars has taken a personal interest in the details of your checkbook. Stay in the posture of gratitude. Every time you see a small blessing, acknowledge it, and the large ones will follow. I am training your eyes to see the abundance that has always been there, just hidden behind the veil of your worry. Now that the veil is torn, look and see. The fields are white for harvest, and the laborers are few, but you, my child, are the one I have chosen to gather the stores. This is only the beginning of the middle. The depth of what I have for you is yet to be fully revealed, but know that you are safe, you are provided for, and you are deeply, profoundly loved. Watch now as the love I have for you begins to take on a very tangible, very physical form in your daily life. I am moving through the hands of those you would never suspect, for my reach is not limited to the friends you know or the family you trust. I am even now whispering your name into the ears of strangers in distant cities, men and women who hold the keys to forgotten accounts, legal settlements, and clerical corrections. Do not be surprised when you receive a phone call from an area code you do not recognize, or a letter with a corporate seal that seems out of place in your mailbox. Within those envelopes lies the evidence of my sovereignty. You have spent years calculating the math of scarcity, weighing the cost of every gallon of gas and every bag of groceries with a heart that was heavy with the fear of not enough. I am breaking that scale today. I am replacing your calculator with a compass that points toward my infinite supply. There is a specific document, tucked away in a dusty archive of a government building or a bank vault, that bears your signature from a lifetime ago, an insurance policy, a utility deposit, or a small investment you made and then forgot. I have kept my eye on it, watching as the interest compounded and the value grew, waiting for the precise moment when you would need it most. That moment has arrived. You will find an envelope that looks like junk mail, perhaps even one you were tempted to throw away, but I urge you to look closer. Inside, you will find a check that is not just a refund, but a revelation. It is a sign that I am the God of the details, the God of the hidden treasures of darkness and riches stored in secret places. I am also moving in the heart of someone you once considered an adversary, or at the very least, someone who was cold toward you. I am melting the ice of their indifference and replacing it with a sudden, inexplicable urge to be generous toward you. They may reach out with an offer of help, a business lead, or a direct gift, and they will say, "I just couldn't get you off my mind." Do not question their motives or wonder if there are strings attached. Simply recognize the tug of my spirit on their soul. I am using the unlikely to provide for the chosen. Think of the ravens that fed Elijah in the wilderness. They were scavengers by nature, yet I commanded them to be providers. I am commanding the ravens of your world to bring you what you need. Even the digital realms are under my command. Watch your banking apps and your online statements. You will see adjustments and credits that defy the logic of the system. A merchant will realize they overcharged you months ago. A subscription you thought was draining you will suddenly issue a massive rebate. These are not accidents of the algorithm. They are the intentional strokes of my hand. I am training your heart to stay in a state of holy expectancy. Instead of waking up and wondering, what will go wrong today, you will begin to wake up and ask, Lord, where is my miracle coming from this morning? This shift in your perspective is the true wealth, for a mind stayed on my provision is a mind that can never be impoverished. I am also preparing a strange source through a creative idea that will come to you in the middle of the night. It will be a solution to a problem you didn't even know existed, or a simple way to help others that will suddenly turn into a stream of income. You have thought of yourself as a laborer for so long, but I am calling you a co-creator. The seeds you plant in faith will grow in soil that I have personally fertilized. You will look at your bank balance and see a number that doesn't make sense given the work you've done. And in that moment, you will remember my promise. I can do more in a moment of favor than you can do in a lifetime of labor. I'm also restoring the years that the locusts have eaten. This means the money you lost to bad investments, the funds that were stolen by the deceit of others, or the resources you had to spend on medical bills and emergencies. I am reclaiming them. I am the God of the great restitution. I am working through a legal channel right now, a case you may have forgotten about or a class action suit you never expected to win, to bring back what is rightfully yours with interest. You will feel a literal lightness in your chest, a lifting of the physical weight that financial stress has placed upon your heart. I am smoothing out the wrinkles of your worry. When you go to pay a bill that has been looming over you, do not be shocked if you find the balance has been cleared, or a scholarship or grant has been applied that you never even applied for. I am the great advocate, and I am arguing your case in the courts of heaven and the counting houses of earth. Your table will be spread in the presence of your enemies, those voices of doubt, those spirits of lack, and those memories of poverty. They will watch as I pour oil upon your head and cause your cup to run over. You are being positioned as a conduit. The reason the blessings are coming from strange sources is so that no man can take the credit, and you can never doubt that it was me. I am teaching you the rhythm of the kingdom. Give, and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. You are entering the running over phase. Do not be afraid of the magnitude of what is coming. You were built to handle abundance. You were designed to be a river, not a reservoir. As the funds flow in, let them flow through you to the people I place on your heart. You will find that the more you release, the more the strange sources multiply. This is the divine economy, where subtraction leads to multiplication and surrender leads to victory. Stay in the posture of the receiver. Keep your hands open, for a clenched fist can neither give nor receive. I am breathing upon your finances, turning the dry bones of your budget into a living, breathing testimony of grace. The atmosphere of your home is changing from one of barely making it to more than enough. You will see it in the way the light hits the walls, in the way you sleep at night, and in the way you smile at the checkout counter. You are safe. You are provided for. You are being surprised by the God of the impossible. And this, my beloved child, is only the first chapter of your restoration. Listen closely to the sound of the wind rattling your window pane, for even the elements are whispering of the shift. Do you remember the season when you had to choose between the medicine and the light bill? I saw you then. I saw the silent tears you wiped away so the children wouldn't see. Those tears were seeds, and the soil of your faithfulness has been nourishing them in the dark. Now, the harvest is breaking the surface. Watch the mail in the coming days. You will receive a correspondence that appears mundane at first glance, a plain envelope, perhaps even looking like a solicitation or a forgotten notice. But inside lies a key to a door you thought was permanently locked. It is a settlement from a situation you had long ago surrendered to the unsolvable pile. A legal matter, a dormant account, or a distant connection will suddenly align, and the arithmetic of man will be overruled by the calculus of heaven. I am reaching into the archives of your life, pulling forward benefits that were delayed but not denied. You have spent so long bracing for the other shoe to drop that you have forgotten how it feels to walk on solid ground. I am retraining your nervous system to accept peace. When you see the numbers on the screen or the check in your hand, your first instinct will be to gasp, to check the name twice, to wonder if a mistake has been made. But I tell you, there are no mistakes in my treasury. I have timed this arrival to coincide with your greatest need and your greatest readiness. You are no longer the person who would have squandered this out of fear. You are now the person who will steward this with wisdom. Notice how the tension in your shoulders is beginning to melt. That chronic ache, the one born of carrying the weight of the world, is being replaced by a lightness of spirit. Consider the person you met briefly months ago, someone you thought was a passing stranger. I am moving upon their heart to remember your name. They possess a resource, an opportunity, or a connection that they feel compelled to share with you, though they may not even understand why. This is the strange source I promised, a channel of provision that bypasses traditional logic. You don't have to scramble or hustle to find them. I have already placed your name in their thoughts like a persistent melody. Your task is simply to be present, to keep your eyes open to the coincidences that are actually my fingerprints. Look at your home. I am transforming it into a sanctuary of rest. The very walls that seemed to close in on you during the lean months are now expanding. I am providing not just for your needs, but for your desires, the little things you tucked away, thinking they were too frivolous to ask for. A new coat, a repaired car, a vacation that restores your soul, these are not outside of my care. I am the Father who delights in the joy of his children. As the abundance arrives, you will find yourself standing in the grocery aisle, looking at the items you used to put back, and you will hear my voice saying, "Take it, it is provided." This is the end of the not enough era. As these funds manifest, I will lead you to specific individuals. You will see a face in the crowd, a neighbor in distress, or a friend with a quiet burden, and you will feel a tug in your spirit. That tug is the signal to release. Do not fear that by giving, you will run dry. Remember the widow's oil. The more she poured, the more there was. You are becoming a conduit of the miraculous. When you hand over that gift to another, you aren't just giving money. You are giving them the same hope I am giving you right now. You are becoming the answer to someone else's desperate prayer, and in that exchange, the cycle of blessing is sealed. The nights of waking up at 3:00 a.m. with a racing heart are over. Instead, you will wake up with a song. You will find yourself humming melodies of gratitude before you even realize you are doing it. The shadows of lack are fleeing before the rising sun of my favor. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten, the time lost to worry, the energy drained by scarcity. This is a total recalibration of your destiny. You are moving from the back of the line to the place of influence, not for your own pride, but for my glory. I am also working in the realm of your creative ideas. That hobby you dismissed as a distraction, that small project you started in the corner of your room, I am breathing life into it. What seemed like a strange and insignificant endeavor will suddenly find a market or a patron. Do not despise the day of small beginnings, for I am the one who multiplies the loaves and the fish. You will receive a call or an email from someone interested in your perspective, your craft, or your service, and the compensation will exceed your expectations. This is the synergy of the Spirit. I am connecting the dots across the map of your life, linking people you haven't spoken to in a decade to the solutions you need today. Think of the old wood in your life, the things you thought were dead and discarded. I am bringing a seasoned beauty out of them. Whether it is an old investment, a piece of land, or even a skill you haven't used in years, I am making it valuable again. People will seek you out for what you possess. You will find favor in the eyes of supervisors and strangers alike. Where there was once a wall of no, there is now a hallway of yes. Do not be afraid to walk through it. Your feet are being set in a large place. I want you to pay attention to your dreams tonight. I am speaking to you in the stillness, giving you strategies for the wealth that is coming. This is not just about a one-time windfall. It is about a sustainable shift in your generational line. The cycle of poverty and just enough is being broken off your family tree. Your children and your children's children will speak of this season as the Great Turning. They will remember how the atmosphere of your lineage changed from survival to thriving. You are the pioneer of this new territory. When you look at your bank balance and see the unexpected addition, take a moment to breathe. Don't let the old panic rise up. Don't feel the need to hide it or hoard it. Instead, sit with me. Ask me, Father, where does the river flow today? I will give you such clarity that you will move with a confidence you have never known. You will be able to look at the strangeness of the source and laugh with joy, knowing that I am more creative than your problems are complex. My provision is more robust than your debt is deep. My grace is more expansive than your imagination. I'm also healing the shame associated with your finances. For too long, you have identified yourself by your lack. You felt less than because you couldn't provide in the way you wanted. I am stripping away that false identity. You are not your bank account, you are my heir. The wealth I am bringing is simply a tool to help you fulfill your purpose. As the pressure lifts, watch how your health improves. Watch how the lines of worry on your face begin to soften. Your body has been keeping score of your stress, but now it will keep score of my peace. You will feel a literal lightness in your limbs as the chains of financial bondage are snapped. Even now, the strange source is preparing their part. They are looking for you, prompted by a divine restlessness. They are checking their records, they are speaking your name in meetings, they are signing the documents that will change your reality. Do not feel you have to make it happen. Your only job is to stay in the posture of the receiver. Keep your heart soft. Keep your praise loud. For praise is the atmosphere in which miracles grow. You are standing on the threshold of a miracle that will leave people asking, "How did this happen?" And you will be able to point to me and say, "This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes." Keep going, my child. The first chapter was just the beginning. The story is becoming more beautiful with every heartbeat. I see you in those quiet moments, the ones the world never witnesses, when you are standing in the kitchen as the sun begins to dip below the horizon, or when you are sitting in your car for a few extra minutes just to breathe. I see the way you have meticulously balanced the ledgers of your life, trying to stretch a single coin into two, trying to make the ends meet when they seemed miles apart. You have walked through a season of not enough, for so long that you have forgotten what it feels like to have an overflow. But I am the God of the overflow, and I am rewriting the script of your scarcity. This strange source I have mentioned is not an accident of fate, it is a calculated move of my hand. In a quiet office several cities away, a woman is looking at a computer screen, her brow furrowed in confusion. She is looking at a file that has been closed for years, a file with your name on it. She feels a sudden, inexplicable urge to reopen it, to correct an oversight that occurred before you even knew how to ask for justice. She doesn't know why she is doing it, only that she cannot rest until the numbers are balanced in your favor. This is the divine restlessness I have placed within those who hold the keys to your breakthrough. You have spent years feeling overlooked, like a name on a list that always gets skipped, but I have highlighted your life in the colors of my favor. Think back to that prayer you whispered 3 years ago, the one you thought I had ignored because the answer didn't come in the way you expected. I didn't ignore it. I incubated it. I let it grow in the dark soil of your endurance so that when it finally blooms, it will be sturdy enough to weather any storm. This financial blessing will come from a direction you stopped looking in a long time ago. It might be an old investment that was written off as a loss, suddenly yielding a harvest that defies the logic of the market. It might be a legal settlement from a situation you had already forgiven and forgotten, or a government surplus that identifies you as a rightful recipient. It could even be a person from your past, someone you once helped with a small, forgotten act of kindness, who has since found themselves in a position of great wealth and now feels a heavy, holy obligation to share that wealth with you. They will reach out, not with a hand seeking a favor, but with a hand extended to lift you up. I am doing this to show you that my economy is not bound by the limitations of this world. When the news arrives, your first instinct will be to doubt. You will look at the document, the check, or the digital notification and think there has been a mistake. You will wait for the other shoe to drop, for the phone to ring, and for a voice to say, "We are sorry, this was meant for someone else." But I am telling you now, before the notification even hits your hand, it is for you. It is yours because I have decreed it. I am removing the survival mode from your DNA. You have been in a state of high alert for so long, checking your bank balance with a racing heart, fearing the mail, and calculating the cost of every small joy. I am going to heal that trauma. I want you to walk into a store and not feel that cold prickle of anxiety when it is time to pay. I want you to look at your children or your future and see possibilities instead of debts. This blessing is not just for your bank account. It is for your nervous system. It is meant to show you that you are safe in my care. Even now, the ink is drying on a check that will clear the path for your biggest dream. You thought that dream was dead, buried under the weight of bills and responsibilities, but it was only sleeping. The strange source is already reaching for their pen. They are already picking up the phone. They are already mentioning your name to their partners, saying, "I feel we need to do something for this person." You don't need to knock on their door. I am opening the door from the inside. Your only responsibility is to remain in a state of expectant peace. Do not let your mind wander into the how or the when. Those are my territories. Your territory is trust. Your territory is the quiet joy that comes from knowing the Creator of the stars is also the architect of your provision. I am preparing a table for you in the presence of your debts, and I am going to watch as they vanish like mist in the morning sun. The weight you have carried on your shoulders, that heavy, invisible coat of financial worry, is being unbuttoned and taken away. You will stand taller. You will speak with a new authority. You will realize that I have used this time of waiting to prepare your heart to handle the coming abundance with wisdom and grace. The story is deepening, my child, and the plot twist I have planned is going to leave you breathless with gratitude. It is coming, and it will be more than you hoped for. As the sun sets today, let the fading light symbolize the end of your season of lack. I want you to recall that afternoon, 3 years ago, when you felt the first sting of this financial winter. You sat in your car, the engine idling in the driveway, wondering if the road ahead had simply run out. I saw every tear that fell onto your steering wheel, and I bottled them as seeds for this harvest. You thought you were alone in that silence, but I was in the passenger seat, already calculating the interest on your endurance. The source of your breakthrough will not be a predictable promotion or a routine tax return. It will come from a direction you once considered a dead end. Do you remember that person who walked away from a debt they owed you, or that creative venture you abandoned because the world told you it was foolish? I have been breathing life into those dry bones while you were looking the other way. There is a specific document, tucked away in a folder you haven't opened in years, or perhaps sitting in a digital archive of a firm that has recently changed hands. It carries your name. It carries a sum that has been compounding while you were sleeping, while you were weeping, and while you were simply trying to survive. This blessing is coming through a channel that will make it undeniably clear that it was my hand and none other. You will receive a notification, perhaps a letter with a strange seal, or a phone call from a legal representative you've never met, informing you of a correction, a restitution, or an inheritance from a branch of the vine you thought had withered. When the number appears on the screen or the paper, it will not just cover the balance of your current struggles. It will provide the margin you need to finally breathe. I am doing this to show you that my economy is not tied to the fluctuations of the world you see. I am the God of the suddenly. I am the master of the overflow. I want you to go into your kitchen tonight and clear off that stack of papers that has been taunting you. Clear the space, not because the money is already in your hand, but because your heart is already convinced of its arrival. I am looking for the faith that prepares the vessel before the rain begins. This blessing is not just about the currency. It is about the restoration of your dignity. For too long, you have felt small, defined by what you could not afford, limited by the numbers in a red column. But I see you as a steward of abundance, the stranger who will contact you, the entity that will release these funds. They are merely couriers of my favor. They do not even realize they are serving a higher purpose, but they cannot resist the impulse I have placed within the machinery of their systems. Every delay you experienced was not a denial. It was a protective barrier, keeping the provision safe until you were spiritually sturdy enough to carry it without losing your way. You are ready now. Your heart has been tenderized by the trial. You will not use this to build a fortress of greed, but to be a conduit of light for others. Watch the mailbox. Watch the inbox. Watch the way people begin to look at you with an unexplained respect. The atmosphere around you is shifting from the cold pressure of not enough to the warm radiance of more than enough. You have been like the widow with the jar of oil, watching it run low, but I am the one who ensures the flow does not stop until every vessel is filled. Do not be surprised if this blessing comes from an old employer who realized a mistake in their accounting from a decade ago, or a distant relative's estate that was tied up in litigation for a generation. It is being released even as the words reach your spirit. The dam is breaking. I am removing the thorns from your path and replacing them with the soft grass of my goodness. Sleep tonight with the heaviness replaced by a curious excitement. Think of the specific bill that has caused you the most heartbeat-skipping dread. Imagine it now and see my hand stamping, paid in full across it in letters of light. You have prayed for a way out, but I am giving you a way up. This strange source is just the beginning of a new pattern of provision. You will never have to go back to the way things were. The lessons of the desert will stay with you, giving you the wisdom to manage the oasis, but the desert itself is now behind you. When you see the deposit, when you feel the weight of the check, you will realize that I was never late. I was simply waiting for the perfect alignment of your need and my glory. Your story is no longer a tragedy of scarcity. It has become a masterpiece of my providence, and the world will see that those who hope in me are never put to shame.